Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, listener. We are trying to be sane here in this program. Those councillors you are referring to, they are not reasoning the way you are reasoning right now at the moment. When the Edo State governor was being inaugurated, we offered advice that he should not go witch hunting and he should face development and see how he can move Edo State, which is very rich in cash crops, food crops, and minerals, to the next level. I don't know they carry last. That is the slogan there. So we cannot be seen in the middle of development. We should be seen. Those states should be seen in the class of Rivers State and Lagos State, if I dare say. Now, when he came in, inaugurated a committee, chaired membership from some political big wigs in Edo State in the APC for assets recovery and whatever. Now we said yes, fine. If you are doing that, asset recovery but not probe, you're not probing them, you are trying to recover Edo State assets. They said that some deputy governors have some cars, some artifacts that the state government didn't take to the Oba's Palace and stuff like that. Now, when we heard about the suspension of the local government chairman, we called for caution again. We said, don't ride on the wrong road, because these are recipe for chaos, for crisis, for stagnation in development from the state to the grassroots level. But here we are. When he went through suspension, the Attorney General spoke, the opposition party went to court, he has gone through the councillor. Now, my own worry is that the NOLGE, National Union of Local Government Employees, have not spoken. With this crisis happening in Edo State, I bet you, TV, salaries will be withheld, salaries will not be paid. Workers will hardly go to work to do anything in those local governments. Development is stagnated in those local governments, and several other projects in the local government will be stagnated. The only thing you'll be seeing is what the state government is doing. That is not development. And we have said our politicians should wake up from their slumber. This era of you just became governor, you have not spent 100 days already?
Barely 2 months.
Barely 2 months. And we are saying this? No. Let's see you work after 1 year, then you can now start. Look at what Adamawa State governor was telling his people at the tail end of 2024. He said 2025, he doesn't want to hear anything. Somebody want to become governor in the state. He said development. That's what he said. So Edo State governor, please, let there be development in the first 1 year. All this issue of you want to put your men, as Amici has said, in those local government, allow their tenure to expire. When their tenure expires, while their tenure is coming to a close, you're already working on your men to come in. This is distraction for me. This issue of impeachment or no is total distraction. Really.
No, we have said impeachments are legitimate democratic.
Yes, but it's total distraction.
Follow due process.
Have those ones followed due process? The two local government chairmen, have they followed due process?
I mean, this issue of local government is so critical and fundamental. And we're going to see a lot of this in this new year. So that when the governors visited the president, he mentioned the issue of local government, autonomy, and all of that, And some persons are also asking questions: why the delay, for instance, in the implementation? Because the Supreme Court was very clear. The federal government came out. We thought it was very forceful. The states, everybody was running for elections before October 31st. All of a sudden, dead end. Nobody is talking about it again. As it were, we're hearing reports that they will start implementation this January.
When the Supreme Court arrived at that judgment, I faulted it and I said the Supreme Court was dead wrong, and they will be caught up with their error. It was a grave error on the part of the Supreme Court. They tried to rewrite our constitution, and I insist the Supreme Court does not reserve the right to write or rewrite constitution. It just starts and ends with interpreting. Or you can say this aspect is illegal and remove it. They went beyond that to import something into they just wrote the constitution. See, one of the attributes of a bad law is that it's difficult to implement. You have a new law now. Oh, you're going to implement it now. It's like a bone stuck on your throat. There is nowhere in the world, as a student of federalism an arrangement where political power is shared between a central government and component units. A component of federating units could be states, provinces, region, whatever you call it, but there must be power sharing. Two entities are involved, central, federal, or components, or states, or whatever you call it. It's only in Nigeria that the military erroneously brought in local government as a third tier of government. Local governments must be under the control of state governors. The Supreme Court judgment tried to take away control of local government from states, and it will not work. The Supreme Court judgment has effectively made Nigeria a three-tier federation. Nowhere where
the federal system
allows, there's nowhere in the world you can argue that let's start it in Nigeria, and I can bet you it will never work. At some point in time, the Supreme Court will realize its mistakes. Is either it corrects itself or we live with this problem. It's a problem that indeed, let's see how it works out, and let's see how the first allocation will come. The president gave reasons why he did that. Yes, I'm not condoning the governors for stealing, that's what I call it, the funds of the local government. But it's illegal. But making them independent in such a way that which state governor was asking what about joint projects?
The Bauchi state governor.
Yes.
He summoned them. He said, look, these joint projects,
yes.
So what happens to them?
The same ways local governments have joint projects with local government, federal government should also have joint projects with state government. There's a 186 billion naira in the 2025 budget allocation for metro line in Lagos. Many people are kicking against it. A federal government cannot put money in the state. But for me, it's good. It should go beyond Lagos, not because the president is from Lagos. The federal government should align with states, or states, more than one, to execute projects the same way local governments are also doing projects with state governments.
When we talk about the Supreme Court ruling, I listened to Akpabio, and he said, if Supreme Court has ruled, the next level you go to God. In this matter now, except the Supreme Court reviews itself, it has come to stay. Now, how do we progress going forward? I think it's too late in the day to keep saying that is a wrong move the Supreme Court has made. Have they given autonomy to the local government? Yes. The finances have not been released. I know there was a supplementary budget, and somebody said we are running three budgets. I think four at some point. So probably the government have not come to explain why the implementation didn't start, why they rushed in October for elections to hold in local government. Probably there was not enough funds, just like what is affecting our embassies, which have not started. I know that in the budget now they say there's 143 billion to renovate the embassies around the world. Now we need to they need to come up to explain to the state governors. Amechi has a point, yes. Some people will say yes, but it is too late in the day, except there is a review of that law. There is a ruling already on that.
Abulu, don't worry. When the local government, like those in Ebonyi, start complaining of non-payment of salaries, you now know whether it's too late in the day or not. It will happen. That's why I said this year, all of us who are here now, we will see how all of this will work out. But my concern also is the delay in the takeoff of the implementation. So there are those who are alluding to the fact that maybe because Lagos doesn't have democratically elected chairman at the moment, those that are there, land their tenure has elapsed. There's some
so there's a stylish delay.
Yeah, that perhaps maybe until the local government elections. We can't confirm that. That's what some persons are pushing for. But we hope that whatever it is, we'll see how this will be implemented. One thing the judgment also did not address is the issue of the joint account. The joint account is clearly stated in the Constitution. When you say pay directly to state, to local government and all of that, what happens to the joint account? The Supreme Court was
it's assumed is now struck off.
Yeah, with that judgment, that joint state and local government joint account is struck off. Local government gets from first line charge. That is it.
That's why I said the Supreme Court overreached itself, because it could have declared state local government account illegal. In that way, then you now go back to the National Assembly and begin the process of a replacement or a right steps to take. The thing is that it's a booby trap. So many Nigerians are hoping that soon as soon as the funds get to the local governments, there will be development. The grassroots will transform. You will be disappointed. Most of the local governments in Nigeria are unviable. They were not created based on objective criteria. The military, they just went to bed, had a dream, talked to a few persons, family relations, friends, associates, and they used pen and wrote the number of local governments that should be created. Many of them are not viable. They cannot even sustain themselves. So when we give them the autonomy, you now see how the problem of local, it will now come barefaced, looking at us this way. Many of them cannot pay salaries. You know, they have the responsibility of managing primary schools, paying teachers, and you will.
But I think Nigeria, doctor. But I think we should be optimistic.
It's not issue of being optimistic.
Stephen is an advocate of grassroots development. Can the state Governor Alia, be leaving his base in Makurdi and be going to go? Or be going to Logo to check a development? That is why you have the. Let's wait. Maybe it's a trial, as I said earlier. Let the Supreme Court review itself if the autonomy is failing.
President Tinubu understands that the present local government structure is faulty and will not guarantee development. That's why, as governor, he created additional local government areas.
Development area.
Because he felt, is it the 18 or how many in Lagos? No, the one recognized the
18,
local government.
20 local government.
He recognized that this one